So did you guess what we bought? So welcome back to another episode of EveryTrade Behind the Build. Now some of you guys did guess that's purchase, big purchase, one of two. I'm not sure if I'll be able to tell you what our second purchase is in this episode because I'm just firming up the details, but it's a big one and I think it's a massive step in the right direction. But we've bought a loading shovel. We've been desperate for ages. We've been making do with that telehandler that's held together with elastic band and sellotape, and really it wasn't ours. And we're responsible for it, so I didn't want to give it back to the owners in a really bad condition. So we've purchased a loading shovel off our friends at 𝗕𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗧. A lot of you guys know Scott. He's the go-to man for blocks, concrete, and also the drive-through concrete plant, which is amazing. I saw that Hillhead. So yeah, done a deal with Scott. He's looked after us. He's been right through, top to bottom. The man behind the camera, Dale, doesn't have to do anything, although it did do a hose on the first day. But yeah, that's going to really help us out, and I'm hoping that'll be the first of some exciting purchases and investments into our processing yard. But yeah, I'm down at New HQ and basically nothing is happening apart from the man behind the camera, Dale, is busy here. This is one of our tippers. It did the wet belt. I think Dale has talked about it in last week's episode, but we never got back on it because Dale's actually been fitting shower screens, which I know he's buzzing about in Newcastle. But yeah, he's rebuilding the engine. So he's gone from fitting shower screens to rebuilding an engine. So Dale, when are you going to get on this roughly? When do you reckon?
Next week.
Next week. We're waiting on some bits, aren't we? So yeah, he showed me these. Oh my, oh dear, is that stuck to that? Isn't it? What are these? The rockers. Yeah. So these, are these the new ones or the old ones?
Old ones.
Yeah, and these are all, oh yeah, you can see snaps. So these are all snapped and stuff. So I'm not going to pretend that I know what I'm talking about. I do not like getting my hands dirty. But yeah, Dale is on this. So hopefully by next week's episode, depending on how we get on Project Toon, this will be rebuilt and back on the road. But if it's not, it is what it is. Paid customer work has to come first at the moment. If you ever look round, Dale's basically been organising his bit of the workshop. So he's got somewhere nice and neat to work. And it's already working. He's basically putting our vehicles through and they're going out repaired. So I'm really happy with that. We've got a lot more to do yet. We're going to get all the floor painted. He started fitting these OSB boards here against the racking, which we put up some of the racking. That's just to give that separation so Dale feels like he's got a bit of a workshop, which is what we want. I didn't want it to feel like Dale was just plonked in the middle of a storage container, which essentially is what it is. Well, if you come through the other side, we've started moving some stuff over from our other units that we've got scattered all over. It's still probably too much to go into one place, but you can see we've got bits of stuff here. We've actually got more stuff coming, and I'll talk about that maybe tomorrow, where we've been given a job to clear out a builder's merchant, but I'll talk about it tomorrow, hopefully, if I get the green light on that. But yeah, so really, we've run out of space already. We've got these 2 rooms to do. Won't take me in there because they're too dark, but it's coming together. We need to be in here, trading out of here by the 1st of October. So that is what, 6 weeks away, roughly. So we've got a lot to do, but by hook or by crook, we'll do it. But I'll show you upstairs and show you where we're up to. So I'm upstairs in what will be the Nerve Centre HQ, and basically nothing has really happened since the last time I think you would have seen it. We've got everything formed. We've started the first fix electrical. Next week, the air conditioning and the heat recovery system is going in. So I've decided we're going to make a long-term investment here, and we're going to have air conditioning in all the main offices, and also it's going to provide the heating as well, as opposed to running it off the boiler. And basically, it's a different type of heat. It's not nice. Now, normally in our other unit, it's either freezing or boiling, but this is hopefully going to be a really nice environment for the guys to work. This is going to be my info wall, as I've talked about before. So everyone's sat here, our kid, Charlotte, all the people that run the operation side of the business, and maybe one other person that's coming soon will be able to see, I think I'm gonna have a bank of 6 large monitors exactly the same size, and each one of them is gonna give a key metric from the business so they can look up like anywhere, central nerve center, and see what we need to do. By the way, I've invested in a light for the DJI. I don't know if you can see me because there's no light on in here, and a little lapel mic here, which hopefully will make the sound better. So yeah, we've got the ceilings up in MF, still stuff to finish on there. KTM's office is formed, ready to go. Got glass everywhere, because again, it's really important that KTM, who's my operations manager, will be able to sit here and see and even hear what's going on there. But if he wants privacy, there's blinds in the glass. Through here is my office, which you've already seen. Basically nothing much more to report. I've decided of having 2 smaller windows as opposed to 1 big window, so we put that column up there. Not much is happening here. I regret not having the end office, but if you walk backwards, Dale, oh, we know he's doing a little 360 pirouette. Woof, that's strictly come dancing. This is the meeting room, but I've got other plans for this meeting room now, and I'm excited about something. I've got something good coming, but stay tuned, not this episode, but down the line, you'll find out. I've got so many ideas that's going off at the moment. Me and Alex are working on so much, but yeah, this one is going to have 1 big window in there, and we'll be able to do stuff and have the backdrop so you can see the corporate environment and our storage, industrial environment, everything. That transition between the 2 sides of what we do. And yeah, I think that's important. It all feels 1 central place of work. So yeah, it's looking good. One thing that's also looking good is we're finally nearly finished on Project Chaucer. That is our design and build extension. It hasn't taken ages. We've just not been on it because it's thereabouts now. We've been waiting for other trades outside of our control to come in. But yeah, we're nearly there. Finishing touches. Hollywood went along to have a look. So let's go have a look at Project Chaucer. This job really is nearly finished. Here, our plasterer John is making up a mix of board adhesive so that he can dot and dab a plasterboard onto a wall. Now, we plastered this job ages ago, but the windows and doors weren't in, so we leave the window and the door walls to last, so that when the windows are in, we can set our reveals right for the margin around the windows. The margin is the distance all the way around the window and door frames. If you don't get that right, it looks weird. John dot and dabs the reveals, sets his margins so it's perfect. Now we set up a time lapse to show the skimming, but guess what? The battery ran out, so you'll have to believe me when I say this room is now skimmed and finished. So I was saying to Dale then, oh good, we've got a brown bin. These things are like gold dust. You can always tell the people that like a drink round there because the brown bins are the one where all the wine bottles go in. So on my road, some people have got 3 brown bins, but Dale just told me that that's actually just dumped there by a fly tipper and it's full of dog poo. So yeah, that's disgusting. And that's something we need to sort out. We need to get the fences and gates up and get this yard secure because we're now leaving materials out here and yeah, it's no good. So yeah, I'm really happy with where we're up to on here. No, that's a lie. I'm not happy. I wish it was further on. But I've had my head into other things. We just haven't got the trades available. Project 2, which I'm going to go later in the week and take you guys down there, is our primary focus along with our other paid jobs at the moment. We can't put our own stuff ahead of paid customers. We're already thin on the ground in terms of tradesmen. We're lucky in that we're a very busy little company, and that's come from hard work and investment and continual investment. But it means projects like this sometimes take a back seat. But the idea is the minute we finish on Project 2, which is the first week in September, we're going to flood this job with all the trade and just get this smashed off so that then we can be in there trading from here on the 1st of October. But I don't want to do a half-hearted job. I want it to be mega so that it's our HQ for the next 5 to 10 years. But yeah, I'm going to head back to old HQ now, see what's going on there and get my week started. Thanks, Dale. So back at HQ, do any of you guys use LinkedIn? I'm getting so many requests. I put one post on last week, which was a bit of a chat GPT thing about, the Ibiza final boss guy. And it must have gone viral or something because it's got like 348,000 impressions, whereas normally my posts would get about 100 and over 1,000 likes and about 75 comments, which is mad. But I find with LinkedIn that it's a lot of the time, it's just like accountants and HR people and SEO people just trying to sell you things. But it is a really powerful tool. I mean, I've spoken to some pretty big hitters on there, actually. Some really big industry people. And I probably have done a bit of business there. And I've got the premium membership that I pay for. But I sometimes wonder if it's worth it. But I suppose, in theory, it's the perfect tool, isn't it? It's like a social media book for professional networking. But maybe I need to put a bit more effort into it. I'm probably a little bit lazy. What I'll do is, whatever I put on Instagram or anything like that, which does generate a lot of work, I just copy and paste and put on that. But really, it's different demographics in it. But do any of you guys use LinkedIn? Do you find any work from that? Let me know, because I'm genuinely interested. Well, I think I've been busy today. I've got a busy week ahead of me, and I'm pretty much at my capacity. I've noticed there's a little bit of processing going on in the yard. So let's go have a look at the yard and see if my new beautiful shovel is being used. See you tomorrow. Good morning. Where am I? I am at a builder's merchants that has been vacated by the previous tenant. I might let you guess who this is. And because of YouTube, I've met a lot of interesting people, and that is definitely the best part of YouTube for me. And I've made a contact from Scotland. He knows Baz. Baz has done business with him, and basically he's watched us on YouTube and become good mates with him, talk about sort of bits and pieces we do that we have in common, like soil screening, groundworks and stuff. But basically, he has got a contract that he empties out this builders merchants around the country. And when he's got one in Manchester, he speaks to me. And the brief is, we can essentially take whatever we want. Now, he's obviously having a lot of it already. And for example, a lot of this cantilever racking here, which is amazing, he's already got that and got it sold, but there might still be some left for us. But there's still a lot of surplus building materials across the full site that we're able to take. He doesn't want any money for it, although I am going to sort him out because I appreciate it and I want him to know that I don't expect anything for free. But honestly, this is like a wet dream for anyone like me. There is an argument to say, why bother? Because he does end up hoarding stuff, but it's good materials. There's expensive materials. There's stuff that I know that we'll use week in, week out. For example, there's some glue here, and there's 500 tubs of it. For example, this here, D3 I think it is, but stuff that we use week in, week out on floors and stuff like that. There's 500 tubs of that. I think it's about 10 to 15 quid per tub. Velux windows here, OSB. Oh, this is just the start of it. It's unbelievable, to be honest with you. There's so much. The problem is, we've got a real finite amount of time to get through it. All right, mate. Yeah, from the main office there, yeah. Cheers, mate. So, I've got the boys here, managed to get a team together in one of our trusty Lutons just to basically make a start. But really, we're going to need to get our acts together and get it done properly. But it's unbelievable. There's literally units and units of stuff that we can take. YouTube gives you opportunities like this. I would not know my mate from Scotland here who's doing this if it wasn't for YouTube. Unbelievable. I'd kill for this yard. Apparently it's going to be built into student accommodation, but it is absolutely massive. So yeah, got to try and scramble a team together at a time when I really haven't got anybody available and try and basically empty this yard out. and then find somewhere to put it. Keep you posted. So I'm in another one of these units now, and again, just so much random stuff. It's too good to throw away. There's like doors, there's racking, so much racking. And again, the danger is now I'm just going to end up filling a load of containers that I've got, a load of new HQ, old HQ. I've got a couple of little storage places that I use. I have to fill them full of stuff, and if you just end up piling them, you never end up knowing what's there, and it's a waste. But look at this. I don't know how old it is, and I don't know if it works, but it's some kind of saw. I'm sure a couple of you experts will know. I bet Mike from Preferred will know what it is. And I think there's this here, which is a spindle moulder. I think, correct me if I'm wrong again, but that's up for grabs. Honestly, this is just one of about 6 units on this site. Unbelievable. As I say, what's going to go against us here is the fact that we haven't got that much time, because the guys need to be out of it by the middle of next week, and I've got to try and free up the trucks. All this can go as well. The alley scaff stuff. I've got to try and free up the trucks and everything else. Yeah, find somewhere to put all this. But I like this kind of situation. It's funny how these situations kind of find you when you put yourself out there. Probably mad, and probably a lot of you guys think I'm stupid. But why not? Let's have a go, see what we can get. Try and see if we can find any value in this stuff. Maybe sell a couple of the bits, and also help a mate out at the same time. Anyway, I'm going to head back to HQ now and try and coordinate this madness. But yeah, as I say, I'll keep you posted and see how we get on. What do you reckon? You reckon I'm mad? What on earth is that? It's like supermarket sweep for a builder's merchants. About Dale Winton. I like Dale. He's dead now, isn't he? What a life. Now, if you'd watched the Preferred Joinery channel, you would have seen these being made in the factory. This is another great example of our group of companies supplying each other and supporting each other to get the job done. Matt and Rob are making this look easy, assembling it on site. However, we've hit a slight snag and there's been a mismeasure. But because we own Preferred Joinery, we called the factory and they're going to make an amendment and send it back to site. So back at HQ now, I've decided we're going to try and get as much of that stuff there as possible, find places for it across all the sites that we've got, and basically I'm going to try and use as much of it as I can, but I'm going to try and sell quite a bit of it. So if you're in the market for any racking or anything like that, then get in touch. It's just too good of an opportunity. I know I'm creating work for us, and probably at a time when we're so busy and we really can't afford to spare any manpower, but I've managed to drag a few lads in, managed to divert a couple of bits. The dig is going to go over and supervise, so we're going to get that and then get it spread across our sites. I just wanted to jump on because this week my daughter Summer, who's 16, my beautiful firstborn daughter, is getting her GCSE results, and I'm massively proud of her, whatever results. I personally do not care what it says on that piece of paper. I did rubbish at my GCSEs. I got 1A in resistant materials, and I didn't want to be a builder. That's woodwork and metalwork. And I think I got a couple of C's, which I was shocked about, but the rest were D's and E's. And I've been saying to Summer, do not let that piece of paper define you as a person. If you don't get the results you're after, is absolutely fine. You're 16 years old. You've got so much time to find your lane and decide what you want to do in life. So if there's anyone out there, I know we've got a few younger people that watch our stuff, or if your sons or daughters or nephews or nieces are getting their results and maybe they don't quite get the results they're after, please show them this. And I want to say to them, Alex, my business partner, and myself didn't get good GCSE results, but we've managed to build a decent set of businesses. We own 31 student HMOs, we're building some commercial units, we own a couple of shops, we've got land, we've planning permission on. So we've managed to carve out a nice life for ourselves. So if you get a piece of paper and it gives you them results that basically make you feel like you've not achieved, please just get rid. Honestly, your time is yet to come. Just find something that you're passionate about, find something that you enjoy, that makes you happy, because you're going to spend the rest of your lives working, and you'll probably get 10 years, if you're lucky, in retirement. So yeah, don't worry, honestly, it's done, it's over. Put it behind you and just crack on. I'm going to go home now, chill, and then yeah, tomorrow on the road to Newcastle. So yeah, might be in the DJI. So welcome to Newcastle and Project Toon. 3 and a bit hour drive here, but check this out for a view. We are working right next to St James's. Now, I know a lot of you Newcastle fans are a bit upset because United keep nicking all your players that you're after, and also Liverpool are nicking your best player. But what I will say is the guys here have told me that you are probably the friendliest people we've ever worked with, and you're making our guys from Manchester feel very welcome. But yeah, I've come for a site visit. I've been here last week and this week actually, and I'm going to visit this site now every week until we hand over in about 2-3 weeks time. But the job's going great. At the moment, we've got the guys on putting the solar PV panels in. So this client, because obviously they've got massive roof space, they've done the calculations and they're gonna fit solar panels all through here. And I looked at the sums and they're gonna get payback within 8 years apparently. So they think it's worth it. They're spending quite a lot of money putting them up, but this whole elevation of the roof is gonna have solar panels on. So that's going on, but we're basically refurbishing 50% of this project. So it's 16 apartments and about 6-ish rooms in each. Some have got one less, some have got one more. The man on the camera, Danny, that's too good looking to be on camera, has come over with me back from his holiday. And we're gonna have a look round now and see where the job's up to. It's a big job for us, this though. Something peaceful about working on roofs, especially when the weather's nice, and the views here are amazing. So yeah, these are the solar panels. This is just part of this project. This is, as I've said previously, over £1 million to us, this project. So it's great to be working on this scale of project. What I don't like is the program's really tight. And I've just had a meeting with the client's project manager, and he's basically taken us to task on a few things that are behind, but we're also ahead on a few bits. And I've said it's really hard to plan for a full project like this because there's so many moving parts. There's also other trades and services on site that have nothing to do with us. But I know I always bang on about it in these episodes, especially this week in GCSE week. But to think this all started in my spare bedroom, and now we're building a multi-million-pound student scheme next to St James's Park, away from our home city. It's amazing. But back in the real world, what's annoying is the MOT on our tipper is due. Now, we've got one driver at the moment for various reasons, because our other driver's on site, and we had to get the MOT to the test station for the tipper. And I didn't really want to pull Sarah, the driver, away from grabs. And then I remembered, Hollywood, the man that's up to no good, is actually a qualified HGV driver. So I had to ask him very nicely and see if he'd mind taking our tipper to the MOT station. And he agreed. So over to you, Hollywood, up to no good.
Chris just called me to ask if I wanted to take the tipper down to get it MOT'd because we have no staff. And I said no, of course. But he's very persuasive, so he said, you know, if I go, I'll get a pay rise. No, he didn't say that really. But I'm volunteering my services, and Hollywood's here to save the day again. Right, so now I have to dust my driving card off because I'm not using it in a while. Things I do for you, huh, Chris? Alright, so off to the MOT test station I go. So I've dropped the truck off now to get this MOT now, and now I gotta find something to do for the next hour or so.
1 hour later.
I'm back at the yard now, and unfortunately the test has failed. Needs a couple of lights fixing, nothing major. I know you've been busy, Dale, but you're gonna have to fix this one, my brother. And I could jump out this truck now and go back to my regular daytime job, which is filming and editing videos for you guys on YouTube. So Chris, don't ask me again to drive trucks, or else we're gonna have some real problems.
So I've lost my videographer. Danny has been called out on urgent business. It's great actually because I've let Danny run this project, but to give you some scale of the size of this project, it is a big one for us, and this is only half of the scheme. We're basically, next phase, we're going to be doing the other half, and that building there, which is actually a listed building, so that'll be fun. But yeah, it's great because we've got a whole load of Manchester lads over here, which is great because I always install a core team, but then we've also got local Geordie lads in as well, which has been really good. Just been speaking to one of the Geordie joiners there, which is good. So we've been using local labour, and they've helped us out loads because, as you find, they'll introduce us to other friends of theirs and stuff like that. But it's absolutely huge, this job. It's an old army barracks that's now going to be premier student accommodation. This is a client I've worked with for well over 12 years, and what I like about them is they don't cut corners. Everything's always absolutely bang on. Every last detail is considered. They don't just want to pile in. Yes, the Biz, you going? See you later. Sean Bizzo's running the job, but he's got to go home tomorrow. So he's got something on, but he's back. But the lads are going to work right over the weekend, late nights, all through next week and the week after to get it done. But I've got the best guys up here, and I know they won't let us down. You know, when I look at jobs like this, and I look how we've priced it, and the margins that we're trying to make, a lot of contractors set out for the same kind of margin. It normally lands somewhere between 15 to 30, maybe a little bit more if you're lucky, percent. And ours normally lands somewhere around that. Sometimes we make less money on a project and it goes right down. Sometimes we make losses on projects, it just happens. But on a project like this, we know what we want to try and make. But I saw an article, and it was in Construction Inquiry, I'm not sure if you guys get that, and it basically said that Balfour Beatty, so a big tier 1 company, are celebrating making a 3% profit margin overall. And I was like, 3%? And I get it, they're a multi-billion pound company, so 3% on, I don't know, whatever they turn over, say 5-10 billion, is a lot of money, but it doesn't leave much room for error. And you remember another tier 1 contractor, Carillion, went down, and they were chasing 0.5% margins, 1% margin, which again doesn't leave any room for manoeuvre. So yeah, that's scary. I don't know what you guys making. I don't know if you guys know your profit margins. I know we know ours. We review it after we've delivered a job. We know what it is prior to pricing the job. Like I say, and it's really interesting to know what we projected versus what we actually ended up making. But 3% profit margin, that blew my mind. So this is one of 16 units, which is basically nearly finished. So we've got artwork up, which is really good. The floor's down. The client went for a herringbone pattern. This is what I always see. We hand over a job and the scratches on the LVT. Really, this floor needs to be protected, so I'm going to get that sorted after this. We've got kitchens in, so 16 kitchens. There's 32 bathrooms that we've got to fit out. We've took them back to essentially the plaster that just about stayed on the wall. We've rewired them, we've re-skimmed them, we've decorated them. Yeah, there's still bits that we've got to get the worktops on. We're using like a compact laminate, which not all joiners like to work with, not all kitchen fitters like to work with, but this is one that's nearly done. And I know from my experience, this one will be done. Probably needs a day's work and then it's done and dusted. So yeah, it's hard. The scale of this job, probably not for a lot of you guys. It probably doesn't even, you've been building skyscrapers. It probably doesn't, you don't bat an alley, but for me, it's a lot. And we've got how many bedrooms, Danny, behind the camera? How many? Probably. How many bedrooms put on the spot? You priced it? 88 bedrooms. So that means is 88 single rooms that we need to worry about. Obviously, plastering, electrics, fitted furniture, carpets, decoration, 88 rooms. And we've only really had about 10 weeks. So look, we're experienced at this kind of project now. We've done loads of this sort of stuff, and these need to be changed for USB, by the way, Danny. And we never let this client down or any client down, but I start to feel the pressure a little bit. We've also got other stuff going on. We've got Project School, the creatively titled one, where Adam and Eve are doing the brickwork, but they've now gone on holiday together, which is a bit odd. So they've gone away, separate holidays, they tell me. So we've had to stop the job, but to try and be clever and keep the job going, we thought it'd be a good idea to get the steel work in, which will enable our joiners to go in and put the floor chamber in. That has kind of backfired, which you'll see here. I absolutely love steel and structural parts of projects. They're honestly my favourite bit. Feels like proper construction. Annoyingly on this job though, we've had to get a crane in as well as a low loader with a high ab. Normally we can use the high ab to load the steel and get it into place. However, due to the tight site we're working on here, we had to bring another crane in. That's the slinger getting the chains on ready to lift the steel work into place. These guys make it look so easy. Got Hollywood to put a GoPro on the steel, love that shot. So the slinger and the crane operator are always in communication, guiding it up. That's a box section piece of steel with a flat bar underneath. You'll see why later in the project. But getting the steels in place is always a good milestone. We tried to be clever on this job, we're waiting for Adam and Eve to get back up their holiday, so we've got the steels in place, hoping that the joiners can jump on. But looking at it now, it's probably not worth doing, so we'll probably wait for Adam and Eve to get back up their holidays this week. So I'm in one of the bathrooms at the moment, and this is a good example of like the on-site thinking we've had to do. So these were meant to be semi-recessed sinks, so the sink would fit into the build-out we've built for the concealed cistern. However, one of the plumbers decided to use a different concealed cistern, which is taller, so it meant this build-out was higher, which meant the semi-recessed sink, which projected deeper than this sink, would bang on the door. So we had to find a sink, find a new tap, because the taps we got went over here. Oh, and it's been a bit of a nightmare, but we reacted fast, and again, I don't get fazed by this. Also, one of my pet hates and one of the clients' pet hates is behind these build outs here, we always check them because there's always empty drinks cans, crisp packets and all sorts, and you know what? It's not great, it doesn't look great if we ever have to go down there at a later date, but this panelling is what we came up with the client. Usually we tile these bathrooms like we do on the Empress stuff, but we suggested using some kind of aqua panelling because it then means we can engineer out another risk point on a project like this, which is tilers. So on this, we would need loads of tilers, and there's not that many good tilers out there. So basically, I said to the client, find an aqua board that we can use, and we've used it inside these showers as well. And now our joiners have fitted these, which has worked out really well. So yeah, you have to check a few things when you come to that. I always check that things like this are not loose, so you notice that there. Check that there's nothing loose there, check that the hot and cold are plumbed the right way, but this has been quite a quick solution. It's actually a really nice spec, this, that the client's picked. I'm not sure what Alex would think about it for the Empress stuff, but also another trick that we do, a lot of people like low profile shower trays, but we always go for a deep recessed shower tray. So you've got deep so you can get under there and get your waste in when you've got concrete floors. You can also service it and get under there if you need to. but also they've got like a groove here, which means that a tile or a board can sit in the groove and create another barrier so water won't penetrate through and damage your walls and stuff. But yeah, this is quite good. It won't take long. It's probably, what, 2 hours working here to finish, a worktop to go in here, get the toilet fitted, floor down, jobs are good. And so the boys are smashing it. I mean, my boys, led by Sean, Bizzo, this is like bread and butter for them. We've done this for years now. Sean and I have been working together for like 10 years on projects like this, and I've been doing them for 15, 16 years. So we kind of know them inside out, but it does make me anxious every year because there's nothing like a deadline to focus the mind. Just walking past here, one of our joiners obviously, clearly loves DeWalt. What is your chosen brand of tool? So a lot of the guys have DeWalt or Makita because they do good kits, but I actually like Hilti and Festool. I'm a bit of a tool snob. If I was a tradesman, which I'm not, I do like the colours of DeWalt, but I'd definitely be a Hilti or Festool man. But joiners, they need some tools, don't they? So I was looking at our project management software here, Builder-Trend, which I've talked about before, and it gives us a real-time, how's this opening? It gives us a real-time snapshot of where the spend's up to in this job. And I've noticed we've spent on materials about 400 grand up to now, which is quite a lot of money on this. Obviously there's loads of subcontractor labour, our guys are here as well, but we've done all those building material purchases on this Capital on Tap card I always bang on about, right? And we've earned points. I was just looking at it there now, and on this job alone we've earned nearly 4 grand in points. You get a point for every pound. We spent £400,000. So if my maths is right and Danny's is much better than mine, that means we've made about 4 grand on here to spend whatever we want. So you can put that back off the balance, which is probably what we'll do, or you can transfer it to your bank accounts, or you can spend it on air miles and all sorts of stuff. But 4 grand for free. And all we've had to do is send the money from our business account over to the Capital on Tap card, and it's instant. It's amazing, and it makes the VAT return so much easier because it's all in one place. You can take pictures of receipts, stuff like that. We're not sponsored by them at all, but there is a link below, which is our referral link. If you sign up, you get 7,500 points, we get 7,500 points. So that's 75 quid basically for nothing. But I know, because I know what referral fees we've had, a lot of you guys have already signed up to it, but it's amazing. It's just simple. It's like, why wouldn't you do it? It's free money. So yeah. This project, we've already been doing it for the last few years and it's been amazing, but we've earned 4 grand on this job, which isn't factored into the actual margin or anything like that anyway, and we've earned it for free to spend how we want, although we'll pay some other people's bills a bit, but still, 4 grand for nothing. So that's basically it for another day, another week at EveryTrade. Got a bit of a drive back, Danny and I now, but you know what, I'm absolutely buzzing. I always bang on about it in these episodes, and I don't know if you guys are getting sick of my enthusiasm for our group of companies. I just love what we're achieving, I love what we're doing, I love seeing my guys that work so hard for us and deploy their skill set for us and buy into our idea and my vision and all come together and work towards a shared goal, which is delivering for this client. And that is what we'll do. We'll deliver for this client because we've always delivered for this client. And yeah, it's nice. I do like bigger projects like this. By the way, no Alex this week because he's having a well-earned break. He's not very good at holidays like me, Alex, but his missus has forced him away and he's chilling. So yeah, he'll be back next week with loads of Emperor and preferred joinery content. So yeah, hope you've liked this episode, guys. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, as the other YouTubers say. Have a massive week next week, make loads of dough, but don't forget the reason why we do it, which is to give our family, our friends and ourselves a great life. How are you, man?